So today I want to talk about how I paid over $250,000 of pharmacy school debt from 2013 to 2017. So for those of you who follow my journey, you know that before I even started investing in real estate in 2017, I was focused on paying off $250,000 of my pharmacy school debt, which I accumulated from like 5 years of school, right? So the average, graduate level, doctorate level student, whether you're in pharmacy school, the average is around $250,000. If you're in dental school, it's a little bit higher than that. I think it's probably like 350K. And if you're in medical school, you're probably closer to 500,000, right? So I know student debt is a huge burden on people, especially myself, and that's a sacrifice that we make to have high income W-2s, to work as healthcare professionals, and to get this higher level education, to have a higher income W-2, right? So that's kind of the trade-off that you have to do. And for context, pharmacists, at least in California, probably range between 150K up to 200K. That's the typical kind of salary range depending on the hospital that you work at. So you're making, let's say, low end 150K, and you're coming out with 250K of student debt, right? So full disclaimer, in pharmacy school, when I was getting my doctorate degree, my master's degree, a lot of people don't know pharmacists. We're doctors technically. We have doctorate level degrees. It it takes like 5 years to get there. You have to do like large student loans. They don't really teach you much about personal finance or student loans in school. Like, to be honest, like in no school do they teach you really much about personal finance. You're relied upon your family, your friends, or your self-education to learn about personal finance. So I graduated in 2013 with 250K student debt. At the time I was making about 120K, and I knew absolutely nothing about personal finance and student loans. So I kind of questioned, like, all right, well, I was so focused on building up my pharmacist career at the time, getting jobs, getting good at my job, that I didn't really think too much about personal finance. And my whole goal was just to like make money, save money, and pay off my student debt as fast as possible. I really didn't have a system in place. I just knew that, okay, like, I just want to save money. To save money, you don't have to spend much money. And fortunately for me, I'm pretty frugal, pretty humble, and still maintain that like college mentality. It's weird, like, no matter, even today, like, I built up a $5 million net worth, and I cash flow $10,000 a month, and my W-2 brings in about $9,000 to $10,000 a month. And despite that, I still feel like I'm so broke. I don't know why. Maybe it's just something that I instill in myself to keep me motivated, or some type of trauma that I grew up with as a kid, right? So one of those two things that creates that mindset for me. But what's nice about that mindset is what keeps most people in debt, which keeps most people poor, is the fact that they spend more than they make, right? I know a lot of people who make $70,000 and they spend like triple what I spend, and I make literally triple what they make, right? So, like, isn't that kind of eye-opening? Like, someone who makes 1/3 of me spends 3 times as much as me, right? I am an outlier. Like, I do spend a little bit less than most people, but still, like, just that concept, like, it sounds kind of crazy, right? So for me, how I paid off my student debt was I was simultaneously focused on increasing my W-2 income, right, while decreasing my expenses and monitoring my expenses, right? I get it. When I first graduated pharmacy school, it was nice to have money. I would love to like spend things, so I would buy my stuff and get out of my system, right? And I didn't go crazy. Like, for me, buying something was like buying clothes, because I needed like dress shirts for my job, and dress pants, and work clothes and work stuff. So and I would buy that on clearance, right? And then I love eating out. That was my favorite thing to do. I just go out, eat, spend money on experiences, no issue there, right? But in terms of like material things, I really didn't like upgrade. I didn't upgrade a new car. I didn't go on lavish vacations. Yeah, I'd travel still, but like not super lavish. I wouldn't go to like nice Michelin star restaurants. So it varied significantly, and it's kind of like a slow build up, right? Like, you have to increase your income, decrease your expense, automate your monthly payments to your student loans. You gotta refinance your student loans if it makes sense for you, and you're not doing the student loan forgiveness route, like if you work for a nonprofit, right? A lot of people do that, but you have to do it for 10 years. But if you're not going out the nonprofit route, you can refinance your loans to get a lower interest rate, right? Because if you have a lower interest rate, that's when you can pay off your loans faster, right? And then you want to make extra principal payments on a monthly basis. So what I did was, let's just say I took home $5,000 a month, minus $500 for a rent. I was just renting a room, minus $1,000 for my living expenses. So I have $3,500 left over. At that point, at that $3,500, initially I would take some of that money and allocate that as an emergency fund, and then I would build up my emergency fund into 3 to 6 months of living expenses. So for me, that was roughly around, maybe let's say $10,000, right? So it took me about 3 to 4 months to save $10,000. Once I saved up $10,000, whatever money I had left over, I would throw it at my student loans as extra principal payment, and that accelerates your payment faster, right? So I would do that, right? If I got a lump sum of money, my tax return, I got a bonus, I got a raise, I would throw that money at my student loans and maintain my lifestyle to be exactly the same, right? Never inflate my lifestyle, right? So over the span of 4 years, I increased my W-2 income from about $120K up to around like $180K. So I increased it by $60,000. My expense personally was $1,000 a month still the whole time, right? My rent was $500 when I was living in a room, and then I made that zero when I lived at home, right? So that's fortunate. But if you can't live at home, just rent a room like me. You can rent a room for like $1,000. I rent out rooms all the time for $1,000, right? So worst case, I would spend $1,000 on rent and $1,000 on my living expense. That's $2,000, and I'm taking home about $8,000. I have a $6,000 saving rate, so I can throw $6,000 a month to my student loans if I wanted to, right? Don't get me wrong, you get derailed, right? Like maybe it's holidays, you're spending money for Christmas and Thanksgiving. Maybe your car broke down, you need to repair it, right? You will get hiccups here and there, but the concept is keep your living expense low, maintain that living expense despite increasing your W-2 income. I don't know how many people, I got $1,000 raise, I'm gonna spend $1,000 more a month. That's what keeps you poor, right? So I did that over 4 years. Once again, increased my W-2 by about $60,000, maintained a $2,000 at most living expense, right? I did travel. I would use credit card points to travel, right? That's what I did. And that's how you do it. It's not humble, it's not great. Just live like you're a poor college student for the next 4 years, even though you're making good money, right? So I did that for 4 years, paid off my student loans in 4 years, right? Versus some of my classmates, we've been out for 10 years, they still haven't paid off their student loans yet, right? Because in the beginning of the student loan payment, you're mostly paying down interest, not principal. But for me, because I made extra principal payments, I paid down more principal. So, hopefully you kind of found value from this. If you want to learn how to pay off your student loans, you should check out my new mentorship program called Tackling Student Loans. It will teach you my 8-step system on how to pay off student debt. And I use this same 8-step system to pay off $250K in 4 years, but also save up for multiple single-family homes. Because I extended the same lifestyle for another 4 years to buy single-family homes. So the longer you can delay your lifestyle inflation, your lifestyle creep, the more wealth you can build. Now, after 10 years, I'm starting to increase my lifestyle. After building a $5 million net worth and $10,000 a month in net cash flow, and my W-2 income increased significantly. So check out the link down below and let me know if you have any comments or questions. Reach out to me directly. Happy to drop you a discount code or answer any questions. Hope to see you in the next one. Please share this with somebody who can find value from paying off their student debt. And thank you so much.